Recently, the data from United Nations, UN, revealed that India is expected to overtake China as the world's most populous country in 2023, with each recording more than 1.4 billion people in 2020. The data was revealed by the UN through a report, which warned that high fertility levels will challenge the country's economic growth. In fact, India's population is expected to grow to 8.5 billion in 2030 and 10.4 billion in 2100 as the death rate slows. According to the UN Secretary General, the growing population is a reminder of the responsibility of all parties to take care of the earth. Meanwhile, the UN announced that more than half of the projected increase in global population until 2050 will be concentrated in 8 countries. Meanwhile, sub-Saharan African countries are expected to account for more than half of the expected increase by 2050. So, in this video we will see how and what are the implications of the increase in population for India. Keep watching. India is a country located in South Asia, which is the 7th largest country in the world by area and the 2nd most populous country behind China. However, it is estimated that India will overtake China as the world's most populous country by 2023. In 2021 alone, India has a population of 1.39 billion people, and its capital, New Delhi, is estimated to be home to nearly 20 million residents. Even though India's population has been growing steadily, the fertility rate in the country is declining. The subsequent increase in population can be attributed to improvements in sanitation and healthcare infrastructure, which have led to an increase in average life expectancy, as well as a drastic decrease in infant and child mortality rates. However, the average life expectancy for India is still far below that of the United States and China. The Republic of India was established in January 1950, after gaining independence from the British Empire in 1947. Since then, India has existed as a federal republic consisting of 28 states and 7 union territories. Politically, the country's parliamentary democracy is considered as the largest in the world and has become increasingly federal since the late 1990s due to social, political, and economic changes. In terms of economy, India has experienced great growth since its liberalization in the early 1990s. India's gross domestic product, GDP, has consistently exceeded 5% until it dropped to 4% in 2019, and then shrank by 8% in 2020 due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Nevertheless, in the coming years, it is estimated that India's GDP growth will return to above 6%. India's economy is ranked 6th largest in the world in 2020. Also, unemployment in India fell to its lowest level in 2019, before rising sharply in 2020. Retail is India's largest industry, which accounts for a quarter of the country's GDP. Agriculture also remains a major industry, with the country's main products being rice, wheat, cotton, and tea. The mining industry is also one of the major contributors to the Indian economy. The country is one of the largest producers of iron ore, the 5th largest producer of bauxite, and the 3rd largest producer of coal in the world. Implications of population growth. According to the former chief statistician of India, Pranab Sen, the larger the population of a country is at a macro level, the greater the number of people that need to be financed or supported. Therefore, this means people's productivity also needs to increase for any per capita income. However, what is more significant is the proportion of working-age people in the total population. Meanwhile, the labor force participation rate in India is lower than in China. This is due to the low participation of women in the labor force in India, which is only around 25%. In that case, the Indian government must think and plan the policy well. For example, if the government increases the participation of women in the labor force without increasing the number of jobs, then only a few men will be unemployed. Thus, the Indian government is advised to make a comprehensive policy to increase employment rates and attract more women to join the labor force. The UN report also says that the world's population has reached 8 billion by mid-November 2022. Global population has grown at the slowest rate since 1950. The 2 most populous regions in the world in 2022 are East and Southeast Asia, with 2.3 billion people, representing 29% of the global population, and Central and South Asia with 2.1 billion, representing 26% of the world's total population. China and India account for the largest population in the region, with more than 1.4 billion each in 2022. More than half of the projected increase in global population until 2050 will be concentrated in just 8 countries, namely the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, and Tanzania. China's population decline. The decline in China's population is expected to lead to labor shortages, a fall in consumption levels, and impacting the future economic prospects of the world's second-largest economy. The total fertility rate of women of childbearing age in China is 1.3, which is at a relatively low level, and is expected to continue to decline in the coming years and may be the lowest in the world. China's fertility rate may become the lowest in the world, in the absence of strong policy interventions. According to existing data, in the next 10 years, the number of women aged 22 to 35, which is the period of childbearing, will decrease by more than 30% compared to the current data. In light of the demographic crisis, China stopped the one-child per family policy in 2016 and allowed each couple to have 2 children. However, it had very limited effect in stopping the declining population, as only a few people supported the policy. Therefore, the Chinese government is expected to withdraw all restrictions on the number of children a couple can have to overcome this problem of population decline. Fertility rates are declining globally. At the same time, some of the world's most developed economies are also witnessing population decline when the fertility rate falls below 2.1 children per woman, which is known as the replacement rate. Based on the report, the population will decrease by at least 1% by 2050 in 61 countries. In fact, the fertility rate is declining not only in China, but globally, even in most countries where the population is growing. This is because the people were more likely to have more children as previous generations grew. Today's world has changed due to the increasing cost of living, which explains why more couples are choosing to limit the number of children they have, unlike in the past. This growth is also largely due to advances in medicine and science, which means more children are living to adulthood, and more adults are living longer into old age. That pattern is likely to continue, meaning that by 2050, the global average life expectancy will be around 77.2 years. However, this pattern shows that the proportion of the global population aged 65 and over is projected to rise from 10% this year to 16% in 2050. In conclusion, the growing population is an important reminder of the joint responsibility of all parties to take care of the Earth. The development of the world's population necessarily brings various implications, whether positive or negative to the country's socioeconomics. However, if this increase is planned together with a comprehensive policy, a nation would then grow better. Thank you for watching.